What if I told you that social media algorithms function much like your own mind? And when you are scrolling, you are not just killing time, but looking at your digital mirror. Shocking, right? Let me explain it to you with an analogy. When a thought triggers a strong emotional reaction, it tends to resurface in your mind repeatedly. The same happens for the algorithms. When you react emotionally to a post, the algorithm takes note, and it will likely show you that type of content or something very, very similar again and again. This is because algorithms recognize patterns, just like our mind does. But we can flip this narrative and use these algorithms as tools for introspection, self-awareness, and personal growth. And why would you listen to me? Well, years ago, I struggled with anxiety and a lot of intrusive thoughts. And by rewiring my mindset, I totally transformed my entire reality. And this shift to a healthier mindset was also reflected on my social media feeds. And to understand this connection, let's start with some basics on social media algorithms. Social media algorithms are digital feedback loops learning from both our conscious and unconscious behaviors on the app. They are designed to retain our attention, the greatest currency nowadays in this digital world. We need to understand that where our attention goes, our time, energy, and eventually our money also will follow. As Pedro Domingos says in his book, The Master Algorithm, they are not just tools that predict outcomes, like an input-output, like standard codes. They are not just that. They are dynamic systems that evolve with us. And that's why we can start to realize how different content creators come to shape parts of our identity, just like the pieces of a mosaic. And behind all of this, it is the algorithm and the input we give it. But what's this input then? Well, it comes from both our conscious and unconscious behaviors on these apps. Conscious behaviors, we all know these ones. The likes, comments, saves, shares, we all do that. Unconscious behaviors, on the other side, they are much trickier to identify. There's the time we spend lingering on a specific post, or the fact that we can scroll past posts without giving it any of our attention can be seen as unconscious behaviors that we do. Based on these behavioral examples, we can realize how algorithms are trying to emulate our human minds by reinforcing our beliefs. There is a psychological term for this called confirmation bias, which implies that one seeks justifications in the external world to reinforce their beliefs. In other words, our minds just want to be right. And the algorithms are trying to do the same. They will feed you with content that matches your past interactions on these apps, keeping you in familiar mental territories. But how all of this works? Inside our brain, we have neurons, neural pathways, and these neural pathways act like highways for transmitting information between neurons. They can grow stronger or weaker, depending on how often they are used. This is related to the concept of neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change in structure by forming new connections throughout life. And the same happens with the algorithms. But focus for a moment on this brain and this neuron. Let's see this highlighted pathway there on top, and assume that it's associated with one rooted belief of I am not enough, familiar, right? Our minds, which want to be right, will be using neural pathways associated with the belief of I am not enough, and automatically thoughts aligned to this belief will start to appear and pop up in your minds. And these thoughts will then impact our daily lives, because we will be making actions not to contradict them. Yes, I know, changing our beliefs could be a struggle at first. But by making conscious actions in our daily lives, we can start using new neural pathways, maybe now assigned to the belief of I am enough, and then new thoughts aligned to this belief will start to pop up. And we will be suddenly feeling more and more enough. Conscious decisions in our daily lives can rewire our brain. We can see clearly a parallelism here with the algorithms. Imagine you spend a long time or a few minutes replaying and replaying a reel. The algorithm will think, all right, that's the kind of content you like to consume, so I will feed you with more of that. On the contrary, if you scroll past a specific post, the algorithm will think, this is not the preferred content Montserrat likes to consume. So that content pathway will grow weaker, and the algorithm will less likely choose this type of content to show you in your feed. We can see this creates both challenges and opportunities. Clearly, as the algorithms try to shape our reality based on our past interactions on the app, for better and for worse. And we can infer that our social media feeds are not just random collection of posts, and everyone has the same post. No? They reflect both our habits, preferences, and also unconscious and hidden parts of ourselves. Have you ever noticed how your mood changes after mindlessly scrolling for a long time? It does, right? Social media feeds us like the external mind that we can see and analyze. And I know it sounds thought-provoking, but what if we can use these mirrors to our personal advantage with the next proactive steps? You see a lovely photo here, holiday photo. How do you feel about it? Would you rather be there or here listening to me right now? This is an important question, because we need to realize that whatever triggers us, social media, while we are scrolling, whether it is anger, frustration, irritation, sadness, it is revealing parts of ourselves we are unaware of. This is totally related to Carl Jung's concept of the shadow. Carl Jung, philosopher, psychology of the shadow. The shadow are the human parts of ourselves, like the unconscious parts of ourselves, we are trying so hard to suppress. We don't want to face them. But to be completely honest, we're exploring at a faster pace that our brains can process. We may not even realize how a specific post like this impacted us in any specific ways. Our brains are really overstimulated. But let's imagine that we can acknowledge this feeling. Let's imagine this is a friend's post and you saw it and you suddenly felt irritated, jealous, a little bit sad. First step, if you were able to acknowledge that, you can step back, take back control in the present moment, and stop this spiral of negative thinking by not engaging with this content or something similar. Allow yourself to take this break. It's not being good for you. And then, secondly, you can start asking yourself some introspective questions. Why am I triggered in the first place? What is the emotion behind this post, or what is the emotion behind this trigger trying to tell me? Would I like to plan a trip like this? Or is it something deeper, like, should I maybe take a break from my current lifestyle or assess my priorities? Truth is not always pretty, but it is your truth. Questions like this are powerful because they reveal important parts of ourselves that we often neglect. Once we're able to observe how different posts make us feel, we are ready to identify repetitive patterns in our Explore page. Let's get the example that you keep seeing: fitness tutorials, fitness influencers, nutritional plans, all about that kind of stuff. What is this saying about your priorities and values in life? Well, it is clear to me that you value highly a healthy lifestyle, fitness, nutrition, That's the first question you need to ask yourself for your own self-awareness. And you can start documenting the responses to these questions in your notes app on your phone. You don't have to even take a pen or a paper to start journaling your thoughts or tracking how different posts are making you feel. Stop these excuses. You can use your phone and start tracking these things. But let's come back to this example for a minute. You can ask yourself 2 questions if you keep seeing these fitness posts all over your feed. When I'm seeing these posts, am I feeling inspired to reach certain goals in my life? Or on the contrary, I'm feeling demotivated because I keep comparing myself to these people? 2 different situations, right? If you're actually feeling inspired, you can take a step forward. You can act on it. You can start researching different fitness plans for yourself or even creating one, eventually. But on the contrary, if you're feeling demotivated and you keep comparing yourself to these influencers, you think that you cannot do like they do, you need to stop for a moment. Maybe it's not the healthiest time for you to follow these accounts. Maybe it's not the right time. You need to be honest with yourself. Be curious and ask yourself these scary questions of, are there any aspirations I haven't acknowledged? Are my priorities aligned with my values in life if I really want to become these people? Or it could be something simple as, I have other priorities right now, and these secondary goals are not my first priority. I don't have time, I don't have energy. But you should acknowledge these things. And maybe it's not the right time for you to follow these accounts because you're not feeling well while following them right now. Once maybe these deadlines or these other priorities, whether it is family, work, university priorities, are over, you can follow back these accounts. Follow them again from a better place. And the last step, but very, very important. Stop being passive on these apps 24/7 and engage intentionally by liking, clicking, commenting, saving the posts that align to your goals or to the feelings you are seeking when scrolling on these apps. But to do that, to take this proactive approach, you need to first ask yourself, what are my goals or what feelings I'm seeking when scrolling here mindlessly in autopilot? What is it? Is it inspiration? Is it education? Motivation? Is it fun? Entertainment? What is it? And when you know why you're scrolling this up, what are you seeking when scrolling, you can reverse engineer and take aligned action by clicking, commenting, saving the posts that align to this goal or to these feelings that you are seeking. For example, if you are a creator or a business owner, you have a specific goal on this app. But if you're not these creators or business owners showcasing their business on these apps, you're likely a consumer. Your attention is what they're looking for. So you need to be mindful that if your goal is simply seeing your friends' updates and being entertained by different posts on the app, be mindful, take aligned action and dismiss the rest of the posts that don't align to this. Now is your turn. You're going to start changing your relationship with social media from tonight. By taking one mindful action, you can start getting this ball rolling and start seeing some changes. I know, all I've shared is a lot to take on, but what I want you all to realize, and the key message from this talk, is that we can be the creators of our social media feeds by shifting from mindless scrolling to mindful scrolling. And don't get me wrong, I scroll mindlessly sometimes. Mostly when I'm really, really tired after an exhausting day at work and I need a quick dopamine hit. I'm human, but it's not my norm and shouldn't be yours either. And I'm sure if I can do this, you can too. Now an action for you after this talk. What I want you all, after you leave here, is to take a mindful action on your social media feeds by replaying for a few minutes, let's say, a specific reel, or by liking, commenting, saving a specific certain kind of post. And then hit refresh on your Explore page. And you'll see how similar posts appear on your feed for you to consume. And if it doesn't work with just this tiny mindful action, do it twice or 3 times. Sometimes these content pathways or these algorithm pathways are strongly linked to other kinds of content, so it will take a little bit more time or effort to rewire it. But it will work, trust me. Don't get discouraged if it takes a little bit more effort. It is a process. You are rewiring the algorithm. Thank you.